Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of little hand-tied bouquets from Small Victories by Johanna Basford. We have this very pretty looking one to do today. Just moving my book across a little bit so we can come in closer and have a little look. There's a big slam then, my son's checking the laundry for me. Slam the door. Right, so we have these. Now I'm thinking that these look rather like a sort of sweet little peony, something like that, and I wanted to do them in quite a delicate pink. We don't have a huge amount of delicate pinks in our set, but I'm just having a look and trying to find a pink that we haven't used before. Maybe the light magenta or the pink Madder Lake. I think we'll use the pink Madder Lake because we've got a few other similar pinks. If we want to do some darker areas, we can. So I'm going to start with my pink Madder Lake, and I'm going to colour all three. I'm going to do them all the same colours. I'm just going to colour them all with a really light layer, just to get me started. I just coloured over a leaf then. That bit's a leaf, so whoops. A good start. So a light layer. Now if you aren't sure how to colour lightly, I know it's hard, hold your pencil really near the end and just colour with the tip. It's quite hard to get it accurate and inside the lines, so you'll have to go slowly, and if you're going slower you can tend to get a bit lighter, I find. So just gently. And also I know my friend Mary had a sore thumb, and she found that this technique of colouring helped her to colour without her thumb being too painful. Because I think if you hold down here, you put a lot of pressure. You can squeeze quite hard sometimes on your fingers and thumbs. You shouldn't do, but it's very easy to. I do. So now we can see that one's darker than those. So I'm just going to darken these up a little bit. So I'm not saying you should try and make them evenish in colour. So because I've done that one wrong and too hard, I need to darken these just a tad. Okay, so next step is to fill in a few details. So we want them to look, we want some shading in here or some darker areas so that we can see the shape of the plant. There are two ways you can do this. You can just make it darker all the way around the edge and then lighter and lighter towards here to make them look like they're standing out from the page. I'm not going to do mine that way. I'm going to firstly make the centres quite dark. So although I said they were going to be delicate, I think this bit, because there's quite a cluster of petals normally in the centre, so I'm going to make that dark. Okay, and then I'm going to show you on the big one because you can see a little bit better, and then I'll do the others. So on the part of the petal that's the inside, not the edge, I'm going to make that a bit darker. I'm just going to sharpen my pen. Did you see how I was twisting my pencil? That was to try and find a sharp edge, but I couldn't find one. So I just sharpened it. So I want to try to get a little darker bit in there and then not colour any on the very edge because we've obviously already got a little bit of pink on there. So to just try to make it darker in the middle and a bit lighter. Sort of scumble it out really gently. It's not easy to do this. And just gentle. I'm actually holding my breath at times doing this. It's easier to do this on a bigger petal, but I just wanted to have a go. And it's not going to work on all of them because some of them I can see that I've just done too dark by mistake. So, you know, it's something that you can try. You might need to practice to perfect, and I certainly need more practice, but it can just, hopefully when I've finished it'll be worth it and we can see that it's made a bit of a difference to how the petal looks. You can see so far, you can see it's getting a little bit darker in places. I still want it fairly delicate because I'm thinking peonies, they are so beautiful, and my mum used to have a peony plant in the garden. Oh, it's lovely, but I don't know, I think it died actually. I have to ask her, but I know it was very close to where her conservatory is now, and so I wonder whether when they had the conservatory sort of rebuilt, well, they had the old one taken away, new one put in basically. I wonder whether, we're just going to do the same on these. I'm not going to talk you through these so much because it's just the same thing. They're quite small and fiddly, so I might go quiet when I'm concentrating. But I wonder whether when she had the conservatory done, whether the plant didn't like it, you know. My fern's got a little bit upset. It's my favourite plant in my garden. It's my big fern, and husband's. We chose it together actually. And our neighbours took down their big tree over the back neighbours. The fern was growing under it. So put the fern there thinking ferns like sort of dark foresty conditions, so it was a great place. But they took the tree down, which was great because it used to drop leaves all over my garden, and it was just it was taller than our houses, and our houses are 3 stories. Well, it depends how you count, but we had a ground floor, another floor, and another floor, and a roof, and it was higher than, and an attic, you know, it's higher than the house. It's getting a little bit out of control. So they took it down, which was, as I say, I liked. Some neighbours didn't, but most of them were pleased. And of course then my fern got very confused and thought it was springtime and produced some new leaves, I think, like it does in the spring. I think I'm going to keep this quite simple. Looking at how this is drawn, all of the sort of foliage is the same, so we're going to colour it all the same. To go with this colour, I think these sorts of greens go quite well. Whoops, I'm just trying to pick them up. These sorts of greens. Okay, so this is, whoops, this slightly darker one is our leaf green, and the lighter one is the grass green. I'm going to start with the leaf green. I'm going to try to do 2 shades of green. I didn't need any more shades of pink, there just isn't the space, and our leaves are quite small, but remember we've got the foliage as well. What I'm going to do is just put a little bit here, like that, okay, in the very base, and do the stem. I think I'm going to do all the stems now while my pencil's nice and sharp. Takes a bit of concentration. Yeah, so now my fern, those leaves are dying down a little bit, but I hope it's going to be okay. It's probably the plant we've had, and yeah, it's the plant we've had the longest. It's the only plant we actually have planted in the soil. All our others are in pots, and 2 of them have died already because of the cold weather. But I don't know whether they're going to come back or not. So we'll have to wait and see. I should move them around a bit because that goes there, isn't it? Because this plant that I can't see from the window, which is doing really well, so I should move it, but I think it's a bit heavy. But I really need to get outside and do a bit of tidying up. We had someone come and clear the sort of dirt out of our guttering, and they just threw it on the floor and didn't tidy it up, which was rather annoying. And I haven't tidied up because it's cold. I need to just sort of pick up the mess, really. This is the grass green, and I could do it quite easily. So I'm going to go over what I've done and then just try and fade it up towards the tip of each one. I think this colour, I think I have messed that up. I am really confused because that bit there looks like it's the edge of the leaf. Is this a bit of a flower? I'm not sure. I'm just going to colour that bit in as well and leave it. I think maybe that is supposed to be a petal and that's supposed to be a leaf. I think I may have done that wrong, but it is what it is. Sometimes we just can't quite make it out. Johanna's is usually fairly clear. Occasionally there's a few things like that you get a little bit muddled on, but I think normally her pictures are fairly clear to understand. Some people's are much more difficult to work out quite what's what. I find sometimes you get a big tangle of leaves and vines and things, and it's hard to distinguish what's going on, and I find that makes them quite complicated to colour. You have to keep trying to pick out and work out all the time what you're doing. Right. I feel that the darker bits that I've done on each of those leaves is not showing up enough. I'm going to grab a darker colour still to just put a tiny bit in so that we can see that I'm trying to darken them. And I think I'm going to use, I wonder if that's, yeah, I'm going to use my hooker's green. It's quite a lot darker. I'm not going to change the colour of the stems, just that little tiny bit in the base of each leaf. Some of them are better than others, but I'm just going to put, maybe I'm being too fussy. Just going to ignore that bit, pretend I didn't do it. I did think it was a petal, didn't I, originally? And then I changed my mind. So I'm just hoping that you can just see these little bits. I'm trying not to do it too hard. I'm trying to sort of fade it in a bit. And of course you don't have to do this extra little bit if you don't think it's necessary. I just want it to, there to be a few more details in it, really. Yeah, I'm happy with that, although that one doesn't show up. There we go. Right, our ribbon. I think I'm just going to grab the fuchsia, which is, I feel, is a sort of darker version of this Pink Madder Lake, and use that. So here he is, the fuchsia. It's 1, 2, 3, I think. Yeah. I'm just going to go over here. Now, I wouldn't normally go over the top of things like this, but because it's a ribbon, I just wanted to show up a bit. I think that works quite well. Now, on all of our others, we've done little white dots, and I think I'm just going to put very few on here. Use the Jelly Roll 8 again. Oops. And I'm just going to put a few in the middle. I don't think there would be any in the middle if it was a peony, but I just want to do a few dots. I can't think of anywhere else to put any. And you don't have to. I just feel like once I've started dotting on a page, I've got to do it on all the pictures on that page, which maybe is a bit silly, but that's just how I feel. So there it is. There's our next one. I'm just checking the time. I've got to go off in a bit, but I've probably got time to do at least one more. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.